Rights and privileges are opposites. We, the people, have individual rights. We are born with those rights. We, the people, give government privileges. We allow the government to do what it does. At least that's the way that it's supposed to be. Let's look at the way things are. Okay, first of all, it says all legislative powers herein granted. If we are granting legislative powers, would these legislative powers be rights or privileges? They would have to be privileges because we, the people, are granting those powers. Well, if we can grant them, we can also take them away. If we gave you the authority, we can remove that authority. Those powers, those legislative powers, can be revoked. Well, okay, that's a little bit of a gray area. Which legislative powers can be revoked? All legislative powers. Those of you familiar with the Declaration of Independence should be familiar with the, quote, the right of the people to alter or abolish the government, specifically a tyrannical government. And it all depends on whether we relinquish or revoke some of those privileges to alter it, or revoke all of those privileges to abolish it, and to start over with new guards for their future security. So we need to understand that it is the people who create the government. It is not the government who creates the people. We need to understand that proper flow of government. So what is the actual status in the United States? Well, anytime the government gives you permission, anytime they allow you to do something, they let you know by giving you a permit or a license. Permit is a verb: to suffer, allow, consent, to give, leave, or license. License is a noun, a personal privilege to do some particular act or series of acts on land without possessing any estate or interest therein, and is ordinarily revocable at the will of the licensor. This supports my theory that if somebody gives you a privilege, they can take it away. This is fundamental. So the government will issue a concealed carry permit. They will issue a driver's license, giving us permission. How does the government give us permission? We have rights. We give the government permission. This sounds a little bit shady. Let me ask a couple philosophical questions. If you have a marriage license, what do you have permission to do now that you did not have permission to do before? Who gave you that permission? And more importantly, where did they get the authority to give you permission in the first place? Let's look at Black's Law Dictionary. A marriage license is a license or permission granted by public authority, whatever that is, to persons who intend to intermarry. What is intermarriage? Well, that's the same as miscegenation, which is defined as a mixture of the races. And it points out that this term used to apply to marriages between blacks and whites, people of different races. Interracial marriage used to be against the law. It used to be illegal for a white person and black person to live together and make babies. But thankfully, we have gotten rid of all those nasty marriage licenses for black people, haven't we? No, we haven't freed the blacks. What we've done is basically enslaved everybody. Why would you ask the government for permission to spend your life with somebody? The only person you need permission from is the person that you want to spend your life with. I can think of no other decision in your life which is more personal. So, I'm trying to rattle your cage a little bit. I'm hoping that you will begin to think about things again and not just automatically take for granted what you thought was true. You thought that George Washington was the first president of the United States. You thought that you had to have a marriage license. Perhaps not. We, the people, have rights. We give the government privileges. So it's, all right, well, how bad can this really get? I mean, driver's license, no big deal. I mean, it doesn't really hurt you, and it's for the good of the general welfare. How many people have seen this photograph? For those of you that can't read this slide, the top it says, this is a Constitution-free zone. Our Customs Department has a 100-mile border or area within the outer border of the United States, which they claim is a Constitution-free zone. I cannot comprehend anywhere where the Constitution can be suspended. What, for political expediency? It is as easy for me to understand a Constitution-free zone as it is for me to understand a four-sided triangle. It doesn't exist. This is a fallacy of somebody's mind. The Constitution that I support reaches all the way to the border. And there is no Constitution-free zone. At least no legitimate Constitution-free zone. So, what is the solution to the problem? Well, the problem is really large, but the very first thing that we need to do is to memorize the Bill of Rights. If you become a soldier or a sailor, the first thing you have to do is to go through boot camp. You got to have some really basic training. If you would like to be a freedom fighter, if you would like to be out there fighting for liberty, then basic training is to memorize the Bill of Rights. How can you defend your rights or anybody else's rights if you don't know what they are? The First Amendment says Congress shall make no law. Wouldn't it have been nice if they just put a period there and left it? Now,